Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, more than a bed, faith communities in Evanston provide shelter during dangerous winter temperatures.
Plus, Impact in Action, Northwestern proves the power of research through its first Research Impact Day.
And Service Through Sewing, Evanston community honors MLK Day by fighting period poverty.
All of that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Lulia Tekle.
And I'm Philip Lamb. Pete's Coffee is set to close at the end of the month, ending over 20 years of service to Evanston locals. The store manager confirms January 30th will be the shop's final day of operation, joining Chili's and Bob's Pizza on the list of closed Evanston businesses within the last 4 months. By the end of the month, Pete's will close 20 locations across the nation, with 3 of them located in the Chicago area.
And as dangerous winter temperatures grip Evanston, local faith communities are stepping in. NNN's Alex Zhang spent a night inside one of the city's winter shelters, where people experiencing homelessness are provided with warmth and a bed.
I'm tired. I want to go to bed. It's been a long day. I didn't get nothing to eat. I'm very hungry.
For people experiencing homelessness, this wish is often a luxury, made even harder by winter.
It's frigid tonight, and so to have a site like this where you can warm up and have a peace of mind for the next day, it's pivotal.
As wind chill temps dip near -20, the Lake Street Church of Evanston opened its doors for people without a warm place to sleep.
This evening we've had to set up the room from scratch. So we have to position the beds and the chairs within distance of one another so that we can get 30 beds into that room.
It's all part of Interfaith Action of Evanston's 7-month overnight shelter program, running from October through spring and rotating among local faith communities.
When someone comes in, they're greeted, they get a sheet and a blanket and a bottle of water.
Under the old first come, first served system, the shelter lines were often chaotic.
People would line up like 3-4 hours early. Sometimes they would cause a ruckus in line. They would, maybe imbibe a certain substance, or they would argue about, someone saving someone else's space in line. And
now participants must first complete an intake at the nearby Connections for the Homeless, then join a waitlist for an available bed. But space is limited. The city's health department caps the shelter at 30 beds.
I am also disappointed and frustrated that we aren't meeting the needs of the community.
For participants, the shelter is about more than warmth. It's about dignity.
We're not all just, drunkards or people that are just moseying around Evanston. We have stories. We have a background.
On January 25th, the shelter shifts to First Presbyterian Church, where preparations are already underway. Alex Zhang, Northwestern News Network.
For more information on the overnight shelter or to learn how to register, visit interfaithactionofevanston.org.
A unanimous decision by D65 School Board unofficially started the process of closing Kingsley Elementary School. NNN's Grace Wong spoke to Kingsley's staff and parents to find out more.
Following more than a year of voting, parents are relieved to see a decision made to close Kingsley Elementary School.
So it has been a roller coaster ride with a lot of ups and downs, and I think a lot of it could have been avoided if we could have made a decision earlier.
The decision to shutter the elementary school stemming from financial burdens and low enrollment rates. D65's structural deficit reduction plan stating a $10 to $15 million reduction is necessary. At the same time, the district is using $48 million to build Foster School.
So they made an asinine decision to build a school when they didn't need one, and now they necessarily need to shrink to fit the money available.
Some parents happy about the decision.
Yeah, it's great. And it makes fiscal sense. They needed to close a school, at least one. So I wish they would have closed 2. It would have saved more money.
Others are worried for the future.
People are leaving the district knowing that there could be another school closure. Like, with all this hanging on the head, why would you come to District 65? academically, why would you come to District 65?
The shutdown affecting Kingsley staff emotionally.
So I think the biggest takeaway is that educators wanted to share that they're sad. They're gonna miss the Kingsley community.
Regardless of the situation, staff are trying their best to focus on education.
We want everyone to feel supported, and we really want the families to know that we are here for their children, and we are going to do our very best, no matter where we are. That is our commitment.
Kingsley community pushing through hectic times. Grace Wong, Northwestern News Network.
Interested in sharing your thoughts? D65 School Board will have public hearings on January 21st and 22nd on its decision to begin Kingsley's process of closure.
Northwestern's Presidential Search Committee will host a series of virtual listening sessions open to all students, faculty, and staff to gather input to guide the presidential search. The search committee hopes to learn the qualities, experiences, and leadership attributes the Northwestern community value in the next president. The listening session for undergraduate students will be on Monday, January 26th at 1 p.m., for staff on Tuesday, January 27th at 2 p.m., and for graduate and professional students on Wednesday, January 28th at 1 p.m. There are many other ways the community can contribute to the search, which are available on the Northwestern Now website.
Coming up, Evanston extends a more than 50-year crime record. What that number means for your safety.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cerejido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at LAS Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Evanston Public Library combated period poverty through Stitch for Change, an event held in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. yesterday. NNN's Uma Morris was at the event.
Volunteers from across Evanston flocked to the library on a freezing cold Monday morning to make reusable menstrual pads.
Last year the line was so long, someone came inside of the library and was like, "Are you all giving out concert tickets?"
With 341 volunteers, the Evanston Public Library was able to provide pads to more than 150 girls in partnership with Girls for Girls Ghana. This year, most of the pads will be sent to the same organization. The rest will be given to Evanstonians facing homelessness.
We cut the flannel into hexagons and the Zorb and the PUL into rectangles. We sew them together in 4 steps, and then we put snaps on the ends so that they can secure.
The event was open to all ages and skill levels. Volunteers cut out the pieces, joined them together on sewing machines, and wrote cards with positive messages.
It's a huge mobilization of the community, and it just keeps getting bigger every year.
Madison says the finished product works well after having tested the pads out herself.
The population that we're serving right now, they appreciate this. So if it was cold, if it's hot, raining, whatever, it's only a couple hours. So if I can't give a couple hours to help somebody out, you know, what's my purpose, right?
The EPL stayed open on MLK Day despite many other libraries being closed.
It's not just a day to be at home and to reflect, but I think he actually wanted us to get out there and have action behind our words.
The event giving volunteers the chance to bond, make a difference, and defrost from the cold. Uma Morris, Northwestern News Network.
The Evanston Public Library plans to host Stitch for Change again next year.
Thinking about summer classes at Northwestern, NNN's Margaret Gonzalez is here in studio to tell us about upcoming changes to summer financial aid.
Here's how students become eligible for summer financial aid. First, students must be enrolled in credit-bearing summer courses or programs like Chicago Field and Engage Chicago. Students eligible for Pell Grants are automatically considered. And domestic students enrolled at least part-time may use federal direct loans to help cover for housing, food, and books. Second, through summer study abroad programs, there are no changes to these policies. Students in Northwestern approved programs may receive aid for costs beyond tuition, like housing and travel. But aid is limited to one study abroad program during a student's time at Northwestern. Next, here's how to actually receive the aid. There is no longer a separate summer financial aid application. If you have already completed the current year's FAFSA and the CSS profiled if required. If you're an international student receiving aid, you also automatically require for summer financial aid, and you'll be receiving an email in the upcoming weeks. Students can now qualify for university summer aid with as few as 1 credit of enrollment instead of 2, and students are no longer limited to receiving summer financial aid only once. Students may now receive summer aid in more than one summer, excluding summer study abroad programs.
Thanks, Margaret. Students should watch their Northwestern email for their summer financial aid estimate and visit the summer session website for more information.
2025 marked a notable milestone for crime in Evanston. NNN's Daniel Kent spoke with city leaders about the more than 50-year record.
0. That's the number of murders in Evanston during 2025. It's the second consecutive year without a homicide, and something officials say is the result of community connections and intelligence.
It's been the focus lately, it's been community policing, right? Working jointly with the community, building back the trust and respect with the community, and I think you're getting more participation from the community.
Police Chief Stewart said she's proud of that number, but there's still work that needs to be done here in the city of Evanston.
We know we still have a lot of work to do to maintain that. And so even if it's not mentioned by certain elected officials, to keep this city safe, we know that this is just, it's not a victory for us. It's just, we have to stay consistent and keep all crime down here in the city.
The city also saw a decrease in overall crime.
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, Evanston's pretty safe.
Since Police Chief Stewart took her post in 2022, officer vacancies have dropped by more than half.
I think she's transformed this department. She's made tremendous progress in 3 short years, and that's why the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police recognized her as the Police Chief of the Year, the first female to ever win that award. So which is a testament to her and her work ethic.
Keeping peace throughout the city, one day at a time. Daniel Kent, Northwestern News Network.
Chief Stewart and City Manager Stowe also noted Evanston's welcoming city status and the city's willingness to adjust policies amid the federal immigration crackdown.
Interfaith Action of Evanston held its 7th annual Walk for Warmth on Monday. The event is held in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day of Service. After a ceremony at the First United Methodist Church, participants walked for around an hour. The original plan was to walk a 2-mile route through Evanston, but due to the extreme cold, participants marched around the block by the church. The walk looks to raise awareness of homelessness in the community, as well as raise money to support Interfaith Action's initiatives like their overnight shelter.
When it's cold, they don't get to choose to stay home. They don't get to choose to stay in the heat. They live in these conditions. We're giving back to the community, walking for warmth, and hopefully putting some good back into Evanston, Illinois.
Interfaith Action of Evanston raised over $24,000 in donations from this event. For more information, visit their website. And up next, Northwestern held its first ever Research Impact Day. Check out what made the event special.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. We hope you've been staying warm.
Yes, if you've stepped outside recently, you've definitely felt that cold. NNN's Chief Meteorologist Emmanuel Perez Martinez is here in studio to let us know how cold it's getting. Emmanuel?
Yeah, expect a brief pause in the extreme cold, but rest assured we are in for a dangerous wave of cold temperatures by the end of the week. Currently, it is 16 degrees with overcast skies with dry conditions. For the rest of the night, our temperatures will be steady in the upper teens, but do expect these temperatures increase overnight. Looking at our temperatures across the area, we are experiencing frigid temperatures. It is 16 degrees here in Evanston. Down in downtown Chicago, it is 22 degrees. Even further south, it is 16 degrees in Dalton. Out west in our western suburbs, it is 14 degrees in Naperville. Looking at our regional weather radar, we have some clouds trickling along down south along with our warm front that will increase our temperatures, but also pay close attention to this snowstorm that will push eastward for tomorrow morning. Onto our 5-day forecast. Looking at our highs this week, time to be weather aware. Starting off on Wednesday, morning flurries will start off your day with some gusts in the afternoon with a high of 27 degrees. Thursday, partly cloudy skies with a high of 23 degrees with a wind chill of negative 14 degrees. Now, please pay close attention to this weekend's forecast as these wind chills can be potentially dangerous. Friday, wind gusts upwards of 28 miles per hour, allowing for those temperatures to come crashing down into the single digits. Actual air temperature 7 degrees, but for the most of the day, we will be below zero with a wind chill of negative 30 degrees. Saturday, cloudy conditions with the actual air temperature of 3 degrees with a wind chill of negative 23 degrees. Then on Sunday, skies will be clear with a high of 14 degrees with a wind chill of negative 13. Stay warm and stick around for extreme cold weather safety tips.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Stay safe out there, folks.
For the first time in Northwestern history, University Research Institutes and Center, URIC, hosted a Research Impact Day. I was there to give a peek into NU's research world. After more than a century of research at NU, Vice President of Research Eric Peru says the first Research Impact Day was long overdue.
This is a time when science is often, or the value of science is often being questioned, and I think having an opportunity for folks within our URICs and folks across campus to see some of the great work we're doing.
As federal research funding has faced uncertainty over the past year, resources became scarce, but the Institute's work continued. John Rogers, director of the Query Simpson Institute for Bioelectronics, says a part of keeping research running is impact.
It's easier for us to justify our work to the broader public because we have really quantifiable ways that the technologies and the knowledge and the science that we're doing really has a broader benefit to the public.
He says the Institute aims to bridge engineering, science, and medical practice.
So we're attempting to develop new materials, new devices, new technologies that can benefit the way we care for patients. So we're trying to improve outcomes, reduce costs, that kind of thing.
For some researchers, their work is personal. For Lauren Beach, that means advancing LGBTQ+ health.
I was an advocate and activist first in this space and then decided to put all my different interdisciplinary backgrounds that I have into doing this science and to make a difference for people like me.
From health to engineering to science and art, research bridges the many facets of life.
I would almost challenge you to say, who does research not impact?
From the lab to the community, Perot says this work helps shape everyday life. Lulia Tekle, Northwestern News Network. Research Impact Day highlighted Northwestern's breadth of interdisciplinary research across campus.
A new Northwestern study reveals that changes to the gut microbiome can change the way the brain works. Building on previous studies, researchers looked at the brain itself to see if microbes from different primates with varying brain sizes would alter the functioning of the host brains. And while this turned out to be true, another surprising discovery was made that microbes may contribute to disorders such as ADHD and autism. Microbes the human brain is exposed to may alter its development and may lead to symptoms of these disorders.
And Northwestern's investigators and the 4D Nucleome Project have revealed the most detailed maps to date of the genome's 3D structures across time and space. The findings offer a view of how genes interact, fold, and reposition themselves as cells function and divide. The maps reveal how the architecture of genomes vary from cell to cell and how those differences relate to essential processes. These findings could accelerate the discovery of pathogenic mutation and reveal hidden mechanisms behind inherited disorders. This could eventually help decode how genome misfolding contributes to cancers, developmental disorders, and other conditions.
A new study led by scientists from multiple Northwestern engineering research groups shows progress toward recapturing a portion of the lost energy that's wasted from power plants, industrial furnaces, and everyday electronics before reaching its intended targets. With the development and characterization of a new thermoelectric semiconductor, that wasted heat is turned into electricity. The unique features of the material enable efficient operation across a broad temperature window relevant to many waste heat sources. Coming up, a new jazz club sets its sights on downtown Evanston.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, go!
With dangerous cold weather ahead, NNN's Chief Meteorologist Emmanuel Perez Martinez is back to give you tips on how to stay warm this winter. Emmanuel, you mentioned those dangerous wind chills arriving Friday and Saturday. First off, what exactly is wind chill and why is it so dangerous?
Wind chill is how cold it actually feels on your skin when wind pulls heat away from your body. Even if the temperature doesn't look extreme, strong winds can make it feel 20 or 30 degrees colder, and that's when frostbite can happen in as little as 10 to 30 minutes. So if you're going outside this weekend, layers are key. A thermal base layer is something insulating like fleece or wool, and a windproof outer layer. You also want a hat, gloves or mittens, thick socks, insulated boots, and a scarf or a face covering. Any exposed skin is at risk in this kind of cold. And don't forget your pets. Pets feel the cold just like we do. Limit their time outside. Keep walks short and watch their paws on icy sidewalks and salted roads. If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for them. And never leave pets in cars, even for a few minutes. For drivers, slow down and give yourself extra stopping distance. Bridges and overpasses freeze first. If you start to slide, don't slam the brakes. Ease off and steer gently. And make sure your car has a full tank of gas, a blanket, gloves, and a phone charger in case you get stuck.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Definitely a weekend to stay weather aware.
Set to open as soon as late spring, Local Note Jazz Club is coming right to the heart of downtown Evanston. Our Darasimi Bankole got a first-hand glimpse at owner Kurt Schauer's dream.
The Note. That's what owner Kurt Schauer hopes that people will recognize his jazz club in downtown Evanston as very soon.
I want this to be a really unique spot. You know, at first I wasn't sure about the smallness of the place, but the more we talked through the concept and everything, it became a really important part, like a really important point that we can lean into. You know, it's not a big cavernous space where there's hundreds of people in there and you kind of get lost.
Schauer hopes honing in on that intimacy will make the club feel
a big hug, right? It brings you in and you kind of sit there and you enjoy it for your time here.
Housed on 1716 Sherman Avenue, Schauer aims to appeal to the community aspect of the club's location.
We always talk about this quote from Art Blakey, who was a drummer, jazz drummer. He says, "Jazz washes away the dust of everyday life." And when I read that, it was just like, that's it. You know, that's what we want it to be like. Whatever's happening on the outside world, you can come in and just really kind of decompress and relax for that time that you're here and be in the moment.
Director of Strategy and Operations, Steve Bollinger, shares that vision with Schauer.
You know, I get that city feel, like they're not even in Evanston anymore, but it's right in their backyard. When things might not be going right in your life, you can always turn to music to just kind of soothe yourself.
Many places in downtown Evanston don't stay open very late, but Local Note hopes to be different.
Most of the places in town, by 10 o'clock, they're closed. And then people are looking like, you know, what do? We don't want to go home, but there's nothing else to do. And
Local Note will serve as a noteworthy new spot for Evanston's music lovers. Darasimi Bankole, Northwestern News Network.
And Local Note Jazz Club is set to open later this year. For more information, visit localnotejazz.com.
So, Philip, how into jazz are you?
Well, let me let you in on a little secret. In high school, I actually used to play jazz on the piano, but unfortunately, I think that ship has long sailed for me, so I'm just back to listening to it.
Well, I never learned how to play the piano, so I was never on the ship, so there's that.
Alrighty, well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Stay tuned for our political special, Politicat, tonight at 8. I'm Philip Lamb.
And I'm Lulia Tekle. Have a good night.